Every morning before the sun comes up, an Amish farmer named Amos walks his fields in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. No phone, no GPS, just boots in the mud and a flashlight. And some mornings he finds destruction that would make a grown man want to quit. Entire rows of corn flattened overnight, root vegetables dug up and scattered, fence lines torn through like paper, the kind of damage that wipes out weeks of work in a single night. And the thing doing it? A feral wild boar that can weigh over 400 pounds and rip through anything in its path. Wild pigs have become one of the most destructive invasive animals in North America. They cause an estimated $2.5 billion in agricultural damage every year across the United States. But for a small Amish farm operating entirely without modern machinery, a single family of boars can be the difference between a productive season and a failed one. So how do you stop an animal that's smart, that strong, and that nocturnal when you're doing it entirely by hand? That's exactly what Amos figured out, and the method is older than most people realize. To understand the trap, you have to understand the animal. Wild boars are not just big pigs. They're a different problem entirely. They have a sense of smell roughly 2,000 times stronger than a human's, which means they can detect a human scent on a trap from a significant distance. They're also highly intelligent and they learn. A boar that encounters a poorly set trap once will avoid that same spot for weeks. Some never come back. This is why most commercial traps fail on farms where boars have already been exposed to them. The animal knows, it tests the perimeter, it watches, and it moves on. Amos knows this. So does every Amish farmer who's dealt with them long enough. The first step isn't building anything, it's waiting. For 2 weeks before any trap goes up, Amos scatters corn along the edge of the field where the damage is happening. Same spot, same time every night. He doesn't go near it during the day if he can help it. He wants the boars to think that corn just appears there, that it's safe, that it's reliable. This is called pre-baiting, and it's the part most people skip because it feels like nothing is happening. But this is where the trap is actually being built. Just not physically. Once the boars are hitting the bait site every night without hesitation, usually after 10 to 14 days, that's when the physical work starts. Amos builds what's called a corral trap, and it's a serious piece of construction. The enclosure is roughly 16 feet across, made from heavy gauge wire panels staked into the ground. The panels have to be tall enough that even a large boar can't jump them, and anchored deep enough that they can't be rooted under. A 400-pound boar pushing against a fence panel generates the kind of force that will find every weak point you left. So there are no weak points. The gate is a drop snare design triggered by a trip wire connected to the bait pile at the center. When the boar steps into the enclosure and pulls at the corn, the wire releases and the gate drops. The whole thing is gravity powered. No batteries, no electronics, nothing that can fail. But here's the part that separates a trap that works from one that sits empty for 2 weeks. Amish doesn't touch the bait with his bare hands. He handles it through cloth, keeps his tools rubbed down with dirt and dried leaves, and walks around the perimeter rather than through it. Any human scent inside that corral and the lead boar will refuse to enter. The others follow the lead. If she doesn't go in, nobody goes in. We dig into stories like this every week. If that's your thing, subscribe. The first real test comes about 3 nights after the trap is set. Amish checks his trail camera in the morning and sees the boars have come back to the bait site, but they've stopped at the edge of the corral. They're circling it. The lead sow walks the full perimeter, nosing the panels, testing the corners. This is the moment most people give up. They see the footage, assume the trap failed, and tear it down. Amish leaves it exactly where it is and puts out fresh corn inside. On night 6, the camera catches the sow entering the corral. She eats and leaves. The gate doesn't drop because the tripwire is set to require sustained pressure, not a single step. One boar eating alone isn't the target. The whole sounder is. Night 8. The full group comes in. You can see it on the footage. The sow enters first, moves to the center, and starts rooting at the corn pile. The others follow. When enough weight hits the tripwire, the gate drops. Amish is up before dawn. By the time he reaches the field, he can hear them. What happens next depends on what the farmer decides, based on the size of the problem and what the land needs. Some boars are relocated. In areas with severe overpopulation, the animals are processed for meat. Nothing is wasted. That's a consistent principle across Amish farming, whether they're dealing with a difficult harvest or an animal problem. The repair work on the field starts the same day. The rooted sections get turned over and reseeded. The fence lines get rebuilt. And within a few days, the field looks like it did before the damage started. But the trap stays up. Because wherever one sounder was feeding, there's usually another one not far behind. Feral hog populations can double in size within a year under the right conditions. Catching one group doesn't solve the problem. It just buys time. Amish knows this too. So the corn keeps going out, the camera keeps recording, and the trap keeps sitting there, ready. The wild boar problem in America isn't going away. The animals are expanding their range, moving into states where they weren't found a decade ago, and adapting faster than most control efforts can keep up with. Wildlife agencies have tried aerial culling, professional trappers, coordinated hunts. All of it helps at scale. But at the individual farm level, on a single piece of land where one family grows their food and earns their living, the solution has always looked a lot like what Amish is doing. Patient, methodical, done by hand, and built around understanding the animal well enough to stay one step ahead of it. There's another one on screen if you're not done yet.